All right, welcome to the After Hours Show. All right, you got myself. We've got a League of Her Own, Adrian over here.
What's up, everybody?
Hopefully, those of you who was actually at the podcast, y'all actually enjoyed that episode. I know for Adrian and I, we actually did, and a lot of the stuff that we actually bring to these episodes, it holds a special place in our little collecting hearts. So hopefully you guys can relate and bring your thoughts over to the after hours show so that we could go ahead and address it like normal collectors would. But real quick, what I do want to share with everybody that we forgot to mention in the podcast. If you remember 2 weeks ago, they announced that there's an actual auction that's going on right now on Robert Edwards for the 1914 Baltimore News Babe Ruth card. And as of right now, with less than 24 hours, the current bid is at $5.7 million. So all this hype about this card probably being the most expensive card in the hobby, I don't see that happening. I really don't. So
But still ain't
it's a
too
good try.
shabby. Ain't too shabby where it's at.
Yeah,
Unless
definitely.
unless there's that, there's always that sneaker better,
Definitely.
you know.
Yep. And just real quick, if you're looking to get some tickets on SeatGeek and whatnot, you've got my promo code scrolling on the bottom. Adrian showed hers during the podcast. For those of you who are going to be listening to the actual podcast later on during the week or whatnot, she advertises it verbally as well as visually if you're actually on YouTube. So if you don't know, now you know. But I went ahead and did up a couple of banners so that we can go ahead and keep in line with what we're going to talk about today. It kind of it corresponds with what we talked about during the podcast. So the first one I want to go ahead and nip in the bud is Michael Rubin and Fanatics 18 months later. So just to go back a little bit on what we talked about, March 3rd of 2022, Michael Rubin went on to the Bill Simmons podcast and he basically laid out in the podcast his vision of fanatics within the hobby. And the first thing, the biggest thing that he actually came up with was he is looking to 10x the hobby for the benefit of the collectors. Now, for everybody that's sitting in the chat, and I know Adrian, you've got a lot to share with this.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the last 18 months? Did he 10x it the right way, or did he 10x it going the wrong way?
I don't know if you've 10x'd it going the wrong way. I know personally, from my standpoint and from what I've seen from quite a few other people in the community, I am not buying anywhere near as many sealed products as I used to. I have increased my purchases of like singles, like a crazy amount. If I had to guess, like 80%. If you look at the stuff that's on my channel now, card openings it's mostly.
It's a rare occasion now.
I've got PSA. I have a lot more grading videos. There's a retail that gets sprinkled in there. But as far as opening new product, it's almost because I still love collecting cards, but it's almost non-existent.
Right.
So
Before I give my thoughts, let's go ahead and take a little quick roll call of who's in here with us tonight. So we got
mhm.
Canadian Card Breakers. He actually showed up a little bit. He's actually working he's at a Christmas party right now. So
Oh,
hopefully he's having fun and he doesn't eat them out of house and home.
thank you for being here, Jason.
We've got Arnie from thecarddeal.com. He was in here. Diamond Princess is here.
Oh, the
We've got
class clowns are here.
Yes, we got White Sox Tom. We've got Titus from God is Great. We've got Mr. Larkin 99. We got a Collector's Dream. Joe Mansman. We've got Chuck Dupree. We've got, like you said, pretty much the class clowns.
Yes. Thank you all
But
so much for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button from my boy over here. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate all the support you've shown us.
Tom says they need to fix the quality control issues first.
Definitely. I mean, the first thing that actually sticks out in my mind with this, and from what I've seen, Fanatics has not stepped in to take ownership because, as we all know, they did buy out Tops. But the biggest debacle of 2023 to date is the duplicate and sometimes triplicate one of ones out of Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how does that look, or what kind of perception you're giving to your consumer when you're screwing up that bad? Now, mind you, I will give them credit to make it right. They did put out individualized bounties for every duplicate that was identified. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a total of 96 that had more than one. But still, all that could have been alleviated if you would have went and took heed to what White Sox Tom said. Fix your QC issues.
I honestly don't think it might be a hot take. I don't think that one of one problem is that, hear me out, that big of a deal because of the way that they handled it. Now, I feel like before Fanatics, that it would have been ignored completely. I feel like they made a mistake. This company is just taking over, and I feel like mistakes happened, and they said, hey, we screwed up. This is what we're going to do. Fine. I just feel like the bigger issues are this big circle jerk that's happening with all these guys.
Right.
This somebody mentioned in the podcast, the positivity cult. I know they've got this whole the negative Nancy's and the pot, like all this garbage. It's just noise and garbage within the hobby. Like, just if you make a mistake, say, hey, we made a mistake. This is what we're going to do. Fix it. Move on. The whole audit thing that we talked about, that's huge, man. Like, that needs to be number one to me. Fix that.
Yeah. The public needs to know that.
The more I think about these price increases too, like, dude, Topps Chrome update, $40 freaking blasters, absurd. Just absolutely ridiculous. That's my other thing too. Like, if I'm not going to buy a hobby box of update, my whole thing, like whatever, I was like, okay, I'll at least get a retail box, and they talked me right out of that too.
Right.
I'm like, $40, I'll just get it. I'll have somebody else open the stuff, and I'll just buy the singles, and then I'll get it graded, and then I've got my content for my channel. Like, if I want to go that route, because if you're somebody that's opening stuff like me, like, I can't afford to buy those products and show them every week to keep my YouTube channel sustainable. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. Yeah. Now, Larkin brings up a point that I don't recall. Larkin, would you mind refreshing our memories? His comment was, as far as I know, they still haven't done anything about the stolen cards.
Yep. Had mine stolen by FedEx. Oh my God. About the stolen, yeah.
Oh, the ones that's okay. Yeah, that's
yeah. Dan, the card man, did videos on that and stuff. Yeah, it's super discouraging. Super discouraging, all the stuff that's going on. The thing that keeps me going with, and I hope it keeps a lot of you guys going, is like, all of us together, like getting our singles and our cards like that, opening up a pack here and there and stuff, and trading and stuff, and doing all that, looking at pictures of what other people have. I love our number one guy in here, Alan Forrest,
yeah,
his stuff. I love that, and I'm like, I got to get on there and be better about posting more on there. But when you you do the podcast, the YouTube channel, the Instagram, and you got to try to remember to post on all these things. It gets a
Yeah,
little bit.
it does
But
get a little bit overwhelming.
I keep trying because it is fun. So,
And right now the perception is Fanatics is catering to a lot of these big name breakers and distributors that are out there, like Layton, Backyard Breaks, Bless Sports. I mean, again, going back to the latest podcast that he did, talking about they had the auditor checking distribution of how everything is supposed to be spread out evenly. We had a breaker not too long ago who pulled 5 red numbered the 5 cards out of one case. I
that
mean,
just happened, and that's
that is
just
sending the wrong signals
yeah.
to the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we're gonna jump into our next topic of discussion: a hobbyist versus an influencer. Okay, but before we even get into that, I'd like to get everybody's perspective on what is your definition of an influencer.
How can they audit? Hold on one second. How can they audit anything without opening the packs? Logan, it's about doing the stuff before they put it into packs. Is my thought
Exactly. Prior to packaging
process.
everything up, they look at
But
everything and I guess they
yeah,
see how everything is
yeah,
cut, how everything is consolidated into these 12 to 14 card packs, how it's packaged up, and it's routing really. It's the only thing that I could think of.
yeah, yeah. But I'm sorry, I totally cut off your question, Mr. Enfuego. Please, can you repeat that, please, so I can
So
make sure everybody got that?
basically, I was gonna get into the differences between a hobbyist, such as you and I, and pretty much every other member that's in the chat right now,
Mm-hmm.
versus an influencer. But before we get into those muddy waters, I'd like to get everybody's perspective on what is considered or what criteria you need to meet in order to be considered an influencer.
That's a good question. I feel like, in a sense, we're all, if we're on YouTube and stuff, we're all influencers per se.
In our own little way.
I feel like there's the difference is, wow, maybe it's harder to describe than I thought, but there's people that are in it just for flipping
Mm-hmm.
or invest. We'll say investing, just strictly for investing, and then the people for collecting. And there can be a little mesh between the two, but I feel like there's people that are more in it for one category or the other.
Right.
Because
Because to me, what blows my mind is you've got a lot of these individuals who are deemed influencers, especially those that actually had tops make cards of. You got Jeff Wilson.
mhm.
You've got, what is it, Card Collector 2 being another, and there's
Yeah.
3 other ones that I can't think of.
Uh, is it Mama Breaks?
Mama Breaks is one,
Um, the
and
guy with the hat. I can't think of his name, but I know what you're
those
talking about.
individuals, they're dropping these videos, and there's it's more to it than those guys. First one that comes to my mind who is very questionable, Justin Gamble. Okay, individuals like that, and I just use him as an example because
Yeah.
if you look at 9 out of every 10 thumbnails for all the videos that he's put, you see his face on the thumbnail within a card show setting, and the caption for that thumbnail, I spent 50,000 at a card show, or I made, or $150,000 trade, or something like that. What influence are you passing on to not only those that are a lot smaller in the public's eyes or notoriety, or even the younger kids? What positive message are you sending out with those type of thumbnails? Okay. I mean, it's and I keep mentioning Timmy because he's the first one that comes to mind. Timmy does not have the ability of dropping $50,000 at a card show. Okay, but yet you've got a lot of these youngsters that go to these shows with the mindset of trying to make profit on something that is supposedly a hobby. And that's the issue that I'm having with a lot of these influencers. They're making all this money, they're doing all these transactions, but they always manage to throw that four word sentence that just boils my blood. I love this hobby. Which, sir, what you're doing is not a hobby. It's a business.
which is fine.
Which is
I don't.
fine. I'm not knocking you for it.
I think what if I had kids or like my niece nephew, I don't want them even watching Justin Gamble. I don't feel like there's a lot of things that when I first watched this channel, when I very first watched it, I was like, oh, this guy's having fun, and but as you progress and watch on, it's like he's not collecting cards, he's trying to buy things as like like a business, cheap, and then sell them for higher. And there were some things he was doing with kids at card shows that I was like, this is just ethically wrong.
Yeah, hiring
I don't
kids
want
to do deals for him.
So I don't even think kids should be watching his channel, to be honest with you. I feel like he's kind of icky,
Yeah,
for lack of a better term.
yeah, it's kill.
He's a whole different. He's taking sports cards and he's putting it in category, A over here, and we're category B, or vice versa, however you want to talk about it. And doesn't bring any interest to me. If he came to my, like, say I had a table and he's trying to pull all this stuff, I could just see the slime coming off of him, and I'm just like, I'm good, bro. Just
Definitely.
go buy from somebody else. I'm not your table. But
Thanks for dropping by, Sean. Jay's Mix, Alex. We
what's
got
up,
Phil.
Jenny?
We
Jenny
got
Jones up
Johnny from
here.
Epiphany Car Collector. Miss Jenny Jones doing what she does best, dropping links for everybody. I do appreciate it, Jenny. Kenny is in here. We have who else? A Collector's Dream. We have some more class clowns. We got Rocky,
Eminem, Kenny, Chuck,
Eminem. We got Magnus in here. And no, Magnus, it's a long story about the YouTube name. I wish not to get into it right now. Moving right along with, okay, so we have the idea of what an influencer is. Now, a hobbyist versus an influencer. So we can all agree influencers, on their mind and their agenda, all they really care about is making money, to buy other stuff to make more profit. Okay. Versus a hobbyist, which I'm not going to speak for Adrian. I will speak for myself. I would tend to consider myself a hobbyist. However, okay, don't get me wrong. I do tend to take some items that I do not consider a personal collection. I either sell them or I trade them in order to obtain items that actually do fit my collection. Okay. Now, I don't look, when I do these transactions, I'm not looking to get over on the person that I'm doing business with, because that's just not the way that I operate. Okay. There are times where I'm willing to bite the bullet and take a trade or take a sale for a little less value than what is expected for the particular items in question. But at the end of the day, I'm not looking to gain any type of astronomical profit out of it. I'm just looking to beef up my collection, for a lack of better terms. And I mean, we're all I'm sure we're all guilty of it. We've done trades in the past with each other. We've sold stuff for each other. We've sold stuff to each other in order to add to what we're currently collecting. And to me, that's just one method that a pure hobbyist would do in order to, expand on their collection versus picking up a whole bunch of bulk for $1,000, for example, flipping it to some random person, making a profit out of it, you know. And it's not just with singles, it's with breaks, because I know of a couple of breakers that actually advertise breaks, but when you do the math, they're looking at gaining a substantial amount of profit from that break. But then you've got individuals that look to make just enough to cover the cost of the product plus shipping. And one person that comes to mind who fits that criteria would be Mike Post from Ripping for Rookies. He doesn't make no profit off of this. He does it just to cover the cost of the product, because he likes to keep his breaks at a budget of around $300, which is, you could do a pretty healthy break with a $300 budget. And then you tack on, what is it, about $150 on top of that just for the cost of shipping, because we're shipping to minimum 15 people, for 30 teams. So it it makes sense. But yet you've got these individuals that they buy like a $500 product, or products that are about $500, and they're looking to make double of what they spent. So I mean, it just blows my mind how you've got these individuals that's got this type of mentality, but yet they're quick to say, "I love this hobby. I love the hobby. I'm a collector." This, and you know, feeding you a bag of BS, or beating you over the head with a bag of BS to make you believe that their intentions are pure, which in all reality, it's not.
Very, very well
So
said. Card deal Arnie set up here. Just what did he say? I gotta scroll up.
I'm looking right now. I know some guys making $400 in 2 hours, under 2 hours, and it blows my mind making money for your time. But yeah, it makes no
Well,
sense.
he also said just you could sell 24/7. Just be honest. He said that earlier, and that's huge. And do
And
those
believe it
things.
or not, Larkin, I could think of one person who does have a full-time job, but they still try to make profit on the side. I'm not going to mention Jab's family, but there's some people out there that do so.
I mean, I don't making a little bit of money for your time. I don't. I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Like,
If you're entertaining, I got it. But
yeah.
if you happen to be that Visine guy running a break, no.
Yeah. No, some of it's sometimes I know I don't get the super outrageous like prices. I'm not down for that, but
Right.
you know, I don't I don't know.
And breaking is just one thing. Now everybody and their mama is jumping on this whole repack thing. And we actually have, which we forgot to mention in the podcast also, a company that
Oh,
has Derek
arena.
Jeter's face written all over it. Arena Club. They're actually selling repacks now, and they've got a 3-tier level too. But now with them, they've got $100 and $200 packs. Both those tiers have 3 slabs in it each. The third tier, there's only 2 slabs in it, and I don't remember the price of it. But why are we doing? What is wrong with these people trying to? I don't know what it is with everybody doing this new marketing trend. I mean, it's not honestly, it's nothing new.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, it's for some, they're looking at it as a marketing genius tactic and a marketing strategy because not everybody is buying into brakes like they used to because the prices are just crazy. And I get the concept of repacks. You know, how many times, Adrian, have you broken to some form of sapphire product and you would pull a particular card repeatedly of that same person, but yet you're looking for somebody else? You
Do
know,
we
that
do we have time to bring up all those times?
I can understand the purpose of getting into repacks for that, but I mean to buy them at a certain price and inflate them for your personal benefit. Again, I understand that if you're running it as a business, the big thing with businesses is revenue. I understand that. But there has to be a cap when you're talking about revenue. You know, if you're going out and spending $100 on product, but you're trying to sell it and make a $300 product profit off of $100, people are going to catch on to it. You're going to turn people away. You
Mhm.
know, they're going to look elsewhere. So, I mean, in the chat, what is everybody's thoughts on the methods that a lot of these groups are getting into? Because you see them on these platforms, you see it on Loot, you see it on whatnot. eBay is infamous for it. You know, I'm thinking it's going to be a matter of time before you see it on like ComC. Tops will start implementing tops generated repacks. I mean, at what point we all say, look, enough is enough. Let me see what's the chat saying here. Apparently, they are replacing the packs as they are sold, so they are getting even more profit. Yeah, and that's I don't know about you, but I have a problem with that because I mean, I've seen the last couple of times I've gone to a card show, there's always one. You've always got that individual that has his nice little display of everything that he's selling, but then off to the side of his display or his table, he's got a nice little box of nothing but repacks, and he's got a certain pricing on it. But then I there was a an instance where again, and I mentioned in the podcast, Sports Card Investor, I think it was, or it was Neo's Cards and Comics, one of those two. I forgot what it was. There was one individual who noticed somebody who had repacks going on. This person that was selling those repacks had a checklist of what was in the packs and what are the chasers. Some person offered to buy all those repacked items, but the seller refused to sell them all
Sell 'em all, yep, because the
because
chase
more than
card wasn't
likely
actually in there.
that chase card was not in there.
Yep. So,
So
I
I mean,
if I can interject, just looking at the chat here a little bit,
mhm,
because someone's like, "Just stop buying repacks." I think there has been discussions on other channels that of having a checklist of some sort, and you guys, "Oh my god, checklist, that's so much work." Like, you don't have to have every single card. You should say the like, you should have a list of the hits, so people have an idea. There you go. Unless you buy all the packs, if the person, I guess that makes sense if you're trying to make sure that person's honest. So I talked about it in the podcast, and I think Magnus is here. Magnus has been working on his mystery packs, which are
mhm.
repacks, and Magnus has gone through and done an excellent job beyond, I mean, really in depth about what you can hit in all these packs. and that's going to be coming soon. And I think that, and I'm going to open all of the mystery packs live on my channel at one time. I feel like there's if you got a bunch of mystery packs like Justin Gamble did and some other places where they're not all getting open at that time, that's where, I mean, there's the opportunity there for things to be manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it tons of times on Whatnot. I was trying to bring up the Whatnot thing on the podcast, couldn't bring it up because I have deleted everything with Whatnot.
Right.
And it's a shame because I watch a lot of resellers too, different channels, and I don't know how things are on other categories, but because of the whole sports card thing, I don't want anything to do with Whatnot. So, like Magnus said, it's added 60 more cards. I'm going to talk about. Well, I
it
will.
was mentioned. It was mentioned in the chat. All right. If you're that person who's into the repacks, because I know that market is very small, make sure you buy repacks from somebody who's, one, reliable, two, you have dealt with in the past, and three, they have gained your trust.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the examples that the chat has been mentioning that happens to have built that rapport with their repacks is Adam from Adam's Car Closet.
Oh man, he's got great repacks.
You know, I mean, there are times where he tends to overinflate the value of what's inside, but in a positive way. And what I mean by that is, for example, if he's selling mystery packs for like $50, okay, you crack that mystery pack open, somehow you ended up with $125 worth of value in a $50 pack. You know, who does that?
Scumbags.
And it tells me that individuals like Adam, you know, and Adam's not the only one. I know Magnus, he does his homework also. You know,
Dom.
Dom is another one.
Dom, yeah.
They do their research on what that individual item is actually going for. You know, and depending on how many cards they put in a particular pack, whether it be, you know, 5, 10, or 10 singles with a slab, they price everything out based off of recent comps or as close to it as possible. Sometimes they go at price, sometimes they go below it. But know without a shadow of a doubt, the prices that are placed on these packs by a lot of these gentlemen that we've dealt with, and sometimes ladies, you know, you can walk away knowing you was not robbed. That's just the way I look at
100%. 100%.
You know,
Yeah.
and then another method that I know we don't really see out in the hobby as much, with the exception of actually going to actual card shows, is when we've got individuals on YouTube or Loop or whatnot, even Silco, they do their sales and that method. Like, I know a particular person who deflates the ever living crap out of stuff that they sell. You know, I mean, you, for example, you do your weekly Wednesday sales on Silco. I don't know anybody else who, one, holds these sales starting at $1, and while the bidding is actually going, more stuff is being added to these current items that are being bid on.
Sometimes after it's over, I ask stuff too. If I know the person, get to know the person and know what they like. What what's better than that? What I mean, how fun is that when you win? First of all, you won the auction. You're like, yeah, I'm getting sick cards, and oh, the person that's running the YouTube knows what I like and is trying to give me something else for my collection. Like, come on, man, who doesn't love that?
And that is
So,
another plus when the person who's holding the event knows what you collect. That is big for me.
uh,
You know, if I'm actually on your stream and you know what I collect, but you trying to throw some off the wall random, like for example, if I'm on a Silco with Adrian, she knows I collect nothing but Rodriguez, okay? But she throws like a damn Alec Manoa at me, I'm gonna feel a certain kind of way.
yeah.
Like number one, I don't live in Canada. Nothing against being in Canada. Okay. I think I'm still banned from over there anyway. Number two, I don't follow Toronto. Why are you trying to push that my way? Okay. I know, you know, at least with individuals like Adrian, you know, she tailors the lots that she puts up on these auctions to the individuals that's actually in that stream. And sometimes you've got individuals who buy stuff that are outside of their collecting habits, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that goes to show if you got individuals that's pretty much buying up all your inventory, you've built such a rapport with that customer that they're willing to pick up whatever it is that you're throwing on the table, you know. And
It's about
again, not many people do that.
it's almost like running good business, paying attention to
Your clientele.
your clientele. Like a lot of you consider you guys friends. I've got an Excel sheet because you guys know, y'all been in my lives and know how I forget stuff or run auctions twice on accident, get so whatever. So I try to get a lot of stuff right now. I got an Excel thing with a lot of your guys' names on there with your teams and who you collect on there, so I can go back and refer to those. Uh, just taking the time. Change format. Awesome. See, always like you guys have no idea how much work Kadeda. I think maybe you do, but he's putting the work in to get this amazing mystery pack break going
Mm-hmm.
on, and that mystery pack break is gonna have a mystery hobby box in it too. We're
Yeah.
doing all kinds of fun stuff in this one. It's gonna be awesome. So
And I
yeah.
mean, a lot of the guys that we deal with within our little inner circle, you know, they're they do the breaks, they do the sales, they do the auctions, but best believe it is nowhere near as detrimental as what you actually see outside in the real world. You know, I mean, we've got individuals that's running $5 breaks,
Oh man. Yes.
you know.
Jeff,
Yes,
Raw Racing
Shaw's
Collects,
Racing collects.
and Beast was talking about his too, and that's awesome. If you just want to get in a break, $5, dude. Shoot,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
mean, who does that? $5 breaks. Then you've got individuals that run $10 breaks. So it you just got to pick and choose who you're gonna give your business to, and just roll with that. If you happen to be that high roller who is willing to get into whatever break that you're looking to get into, if you're that type of individual that, for example, if I'm looking to pick up some stuff off of when it comes out, if it comes out, 2023 Tops Transcendent. Okay.
Mm,
That's a $20,000 product. If I'm
yeah.
looking to get into something like that, I'm gonna get into whatever break is actually holding a break with that particular product. You know, and it's a high risk, high reward type deal, you know. But individuals who don't have as deep a pockets as others, I'll stick with what I know, to be quite honest.
23. Yeah. That's beast. Yeah. 23. But I know. Oh, Theo,
Yeah,
sports
Theo's the
card
one running
24/7. Great breaks.
$9.95 plus shipping. You
Can't, I
know, I
mean,
mean, you don't find too many of those out there. But
so to go way back to your question at the beginning, like the whole 10x, if how
yeah.
that's looking,
Hmm.
I don't, I'm not seeing it at the moment. I'm not seeing it at the moment.
Not at all. And the ones
No.
that's ultimately going to end up paying the price for it, or make the hobby worse than what it really is leading to our next little subject area. Kids in the hobby going forward.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you have gone to a show or gone to an LCS and you've got a youngster anywhere from the age 11 to like 15, maybe 16, and they're talking to the LCS staff like they've been doing the hobby for 20 plus years, or they go to a show and they've got this Samsonite level or higher Gucci branded slab case with their collection that they're looking to flip. You know, to me, that just tells me that the hobby is taking a wrong approach and is leading into a mishap with the hobby, because at some point it's not going to be considered a hobby anymore. That term right now, in my opinion, is an endangered species,
Yeah.
because it's really not a hobby when you keep putting dollar figures to everything,
I
and you're not looking at the reality of it.
I think I think that whole kids and the Gucci stuff and all that, that's a subject of what some of the influencers are projecting. I really hope and don't feel like kids in the hobby are really all like that. There are some, and that's what we see on the YouTube channels, because those are what those some of those influencers, other people that we watch, are gonna show. They're not gonna. We've seen a little bit where kids are just trying to grind or get their favorite players and stuff like that, but
Right.
I think and hope that a lot of kids that are in the hobby are just, wanting to get their players, wanting, and they can't help it. They hear all this. They're watching you. Kids be watching YouTube like crazy, so they want to get the kabooms and the
Mm-hmm.
color blasts and the ones and ones. Because man, yeah, it sounds cool, but I don't think the ones walking around with the I'm hope it's not as common. That was the thing that really rubbed me the wrong way with on Justin Gamble with those kids that he was like that were hanging out with him were just, to me, I'm like, they're turning into douchebags. They just and what they were doing was douchebaggy, and I, I'm hoping, like, I know I got two nephews that are into Pokemon and they're soccer and stuff, and like they're just so excited to open packs and shiny stuff and stuff like that. They're not like, I don't know.
Look at this comment that Joe Mansman just put.
Not card related, but I had a table at the toy show today. I didn't make my table cost back and still gave stuff to kids that parents couldn't afford what they wanted. That's freaking awesome, Joe.
We need more people like
You're
Joe.
freaking awesome, man. I see kids at our local shows regular and they don't act like that. Awesome. They want their favorite players and cool looking cards more than anything. Awesome. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm hoping. That's
Yeah,
what I'm hoping. But like
definitely.
and you guys always hear Mr. Fuego say Miss Little Timmy, he's talking about young kids that don't have the money to go, buy stuff. And with the way retail and stuff is, like $40 for a blaster, like, if my went into my sister goes into Target all the time with my niece, and she's asking for cards, and like she's not gonna get.
This is the perfect
Yeah.
example of where
Yeah.
we see our hobby at with the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I've seen Jeff Wilson's kid at card shows on YouTube, just like his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's sending the wrong message to those that, one, do not have the financial stability like Jeff Wilson's kid.
Mm-hmm.
Two, just don't really have. Now, I would respect you more as what you would like to call yourself, an influencer, if you come on to platforms as this and provide insight on how to make purchases, how to determine, because we still have the issue of individuals that doctor cards that sell phonies and things like that. I can understand. Like, who's that one kid that all he buys is vintage and he does videos on identifying what's real and what's not?
I don't know.
He did. He just wrote a
Yeah.
book recently. I can't remember his name.
Dang.
Okay. But I mean, if you have something to bring to the table of value and worth that will benefit the next person who's not as educated or as knowledgeable in the hobby as yourself, I would respect you identifying yourself as an influencer. Okay. But if you're going to come out and come up with a video and say, look, I spent 50K at a car show, this is how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not doing it. No,
Mm-hmm.
not no, but hell no.
Well, I feel like that wouldn't be that would be fine if it was like once a year kind of thing, and you had that kind of thing. But like that we see that with people on every doing that for every single video. It's ridiculous. It was like, oh, that whole I agree with it, but I see more of Jeff's kid copy. Yeah, I don't see other kids acting like, but I don't. So with Jeff's kid, I actually like him. I feel like he is a little almost more knowledgeable and better like with the whole hobby than his dad per se. But his dad is a businessman. He wants to be like dad, be a businessman kind of thing.
Right.
But he's still I still feel like I don't feel like he's that bad. But yeah, it might be showing. Hopefully
he's not that bad now, but wait till what happens when he gets older.
Hopefully he's maybe not just about the hobby, but maybe showing kids that enjoy something how they could make a business out of it. Now, hopefully they do it in an ethical manner and not like a creepy, shady manner. Like I still can't get over it where he's like sending kids over to do deals because he knew these people would do a better deal because it was a kid. I just like that, and the kids were all about that too, like trying to pretend and act all cute and like, oh, it's my favorite player. I want to trade. This is all I got to trade, and it was just a total show. And anyways, I can't. I can't wait for the national. I feel like it's gonna be quite eye opening.
Collector's dream. You mean Nolan Ryan?
I did a video at Ryan Nolan's house showing.
I'm just asking.
I think he was talking earlier. I think he was actually talking about somebody named Ryan Nolan, I think, but I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too.
Yeah. Because the chat was flying by today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's we're starting to see a lot of that, Alan. A lot of these adults are using these kids to work their drug deals for them.
Yeah. He is talking about Ryan Nolan breakout cards. It is.
That's who it is.
Yes. That's who you were trying to talk about.
Yes.
Earlier.
I like how he does his videos. And yeah, I think he's done one or two videos that depicts how much he spent at a card show, but at the same time, a lot of his content explains I got basically gotten with a fake card, and then he goes into detail as to why, or whenever he picks up something, he'll let you know, look, for a fake card, you need to look for this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Random Reps Culture Collision's the one in Atlanta, right? I don't think so.
I've never heard of Culture Collision.
That's that it's in Atlanta, so I know Jeff has talked about it, and it's got a lot. It's not just cards too. I think it's like comic books and stuff like that. Let me.
Wait, you said it was in Atlanta?
Yeah, it's. I
Yep.
think it's close to.
I'm
not
not
in,
going. That Atlanta has been on First 48 too many times.
when is it this year? I'm looking it up here. That's next month. Wow. The January 26th to the 28th. 17,000 square feet, 600 tables, 3-on-3 basketball tournament, cards, comics, shoes too, sneakerheads, stuff like that. It's probably going to be awesome. Random, I hope you're going to do like some videos and stuff like that. Remember back when I had my shop and kids would come to buy a pack, open it, and then just have the biggest smile when they, yes.
Those days are long behind us,
Yeah.
John, honestly, and it's sad. Yep, there you go. He
Awesome.
bought a whole bunch of fake cards and wrote a book about it. Now,
Oh,
I did purchase that book, and I
yeah.
will say it is a good read. If you have not read that book, I recommend that you do so. Now, just to critique him a little bit, he should have had somebody follow up behind him on the structure of his content in that book, because he tends to be a little bit all over the place with that book, but the
Yeah.
message is clear. And he gives some damn good examples of what to look for, how to look for it, and what are the types of targeted cards that a lot of people are using to fake and make money off of.
Oh my God, it's so hard to find the book because of his name. They want to just show Nolan Ryan stuff.
See, I don't want to get up because I actually have a copy of that book.
Yeah. Dad owned a card shop. Cool. What's the name of the book? What's the name of the book?
It's damn it. I'm drawing a blank on it too.
Ryan. Somebody's gonna say it here in the chat. Here we go. Is it spotting fake called Spotting Fakes? Spotting Fakes. Yep. Examining the top 50 fake cards. Yeah. I'm getting that book right now. Add it to the cart. Spotty. Thank you, Collector's Dream. It's also weird at all the shows I do, people and kids don't buy baseball anymore. It's football bat. Yeah. More popular. My nephews don't want nothing. Like, they just want Pokemon and soccer.
Yeah.
Trojan Man shooting.
Or this new flavor that they got out. What is it called? Lorcana or something like that.
Oh, the Disney cards. Yeah. Whatever. You collect cards. It's cool. Collect your thing. People just aren't as into, like, basketball and football are more popular with the kids, to be honest. And even I feel like soccer's like the most popular with kids, honestly.
Real quick, here is what that book actually looks like.
Yeah.
The top 50 fake sports cards, and this book was recently written just over 2 years ago.
All right.
It's got 4.3 stars from 62 ratings. So, I mean, it's a good read. It's a little bit all over the place, but
yeah. Yeah, I'm going to order that sucker up. Let's see. Oh, okay. Everybody in the chat. What you guys doing What's your buybacks? Your MVP buybacks, your Shoheis and your oh, boss man, we've been talking crap. No, I was kidding. What do you guys? What's everybody doing with their MVP buybacks? So you guys with your Shohei Ohtani's, your Ronald Acuna's, what are you guys buying, if anything? Are you sending them in? Are you keeping them? Are you going to send them in and get something? And if you are, what are you getting, or what are you looking forward to?
Here's what I
Right.
want to know:
PSA Ray is keeping them.
Who's collect the most? Who's got the bigger dollar amount of buybacks?
Ooh, my bet's on Arnie.
I would think so too.
I would think. I'm trying to think who else I've seen. Oh, well, maybe Striker. Maybe Striker. Yeah. Oh, Peds. That's another good one. He probably has a bunch.
Just did a video, and I think he collected just over $700 in buyback cards.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. It's not worth it. 20 at your LCS. Over 700. Eminem, you got over $700 worth?
Jesus, Eminem.
What are you guys getting? Or what are you thinking about getting if you're waiting for something to come out? Oh, Eminem's saying
Peds had over $700.
Okay, my bad.
I would have rolled with it anyway, Eminem. That's just me.
I'm like, so here's what here, and how much did they spend to get that many? True that, Lock-in. True that.
How many cases they broke into?
Yeah, Pac-Man, 860, somewhere around that number. Yeah. You know, it's like how much did they spend to get that money, and then like to get that many? And then like what other hits did they get, other good hits in what they opened that like balanced this out at least or benefited from it? You know, I don't know. We didn't talk about in the podcast either about that whole Topps Chrome. Is Topps Chrome dead?
Oh,
He did a thing on that. That was another thing.
I mean, we could afford to go a couple of minutes over.
Yeah.
So there was a video that was done by Scotty B Cards, and the theme for that particular video was the entire product of Topps Chrome is completely dead. And the reason why he came up with that video is because Topps Chrome is coming up with parallels for the parallels, which kind of dilutes the idea of targeting your guy that you collect, and once you have them, you feel content. But in this case, and in this day and age, nope. If you've got a refractor of Adley Rushman, you have to get the aqua, you have to get the blue, you got to get the orange, the red, you got to get the polka dot, you got to get the Swastika variant. I mean, it's like each player on that base checklist has minimum 10 different parallels.
Mm-hmm. More than that. I'm thinking because I did the rainbow of the Bo Bichette out of 2022 Chrome. Freaking ridiculous.
When
and it's only gotten worse.
Platinum Anniversary came out, I was targeting Alex Rodriguez. Okay. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I sent Adrian almost, if not a little bit more than 20 different parallels.
24.
There you go. 24 different parallels of one player.
And that wasn't even all of them.
Yo, there's more.
It's almost all of them, but I'm just like,
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember back in the early 2010s where a lot of these players, for example, look at Mike Trout. He's only got one rookie card.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now you compare the the production from that era to now, Julio Rodriguez, he has at least 50 different damn rookie cards.
All right, here's my Boba Fett rainbow here. See how many there are. 1, 2. Oop, not that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 different parallels.
Jesus. And I'm pretty sure there's still some out there flapping.
This was every single one out of just Topps 2022 Topps Chrome product. But then they, later there was the Topps Chrome refractor one, logo fractor ones. If I wanted to do all those, I just stuck to the top 2020, what came out in 2022 Topps Chrome.
Now, is that the Boba Fett that you had displayed on that shelf behind you?
Yes. Let's see. And it started off. The only reason I started doing it was I was able to get the superfractor for a good price on eBay, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try to get this, and yeah. And then the one that was the hardest to get after that was the I shouldn't say obviously, but the out of 5 true red, which there was 2 5s because there was a red wave too, because and then that introduced me to, which I hate the grading company, but I got this slab from HGA, which I love this horizontal slab, but God, I hate that company.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's insane. I know. And somebody got me this one, and I was like, oh, maybe. And then I saw all the Alex Rodriguez's you got, and you're like, I'm good. I'm good. I'll be all right. Yeah.
Because with platinum specifically, I noticed on the checklist too. Like, for example, let's take the out of 25 parallels. There's like 3 of them just numbered out of 25.
Yeah.
I think what I sent you from the minimum was numbered to 25 all the way up to 299. All I was missing was the out of 10, the out of 5, and the super.
I was just gonna say, you don't have the black one, huh?
No.
Dang. What was this 20? This is 2022.
Right?
Topps Chrome.
I've been looking. There's none on eBay.
I know. I got it. So I want to make sure I put it in my search thing so it'll pop up. Alex Rodriguez.
It's
crazy.
It is. So we've got 25 people watching with 24 likes. I do appreciate everybody coming in. And if you're new, make sure y'all go check out Aliga Haron's channel, 8 o'clock every Saturday for the actual podcast. Consider subscribing to both channels. I guarantee you won't be upset. And everybody that's actually in the chat, they do have some awesome channels as well. So feel free to go ahead and connect with each other. Because that's how we do things around here. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. They will short print base cards to save their collectability. He's got a nice gold 1-of-1 A-Rod. Who does? I missed that.
Who?
Bossman says HGA hating. Do you like Bossman? Do you like HGA? Which actually I did grade with HGA, but I had an issue when I graded with them, so that's why I'm not too fond of them. But
there is a 1-of-1 foil fractor that I'm currently watching on eBay right now that is out of 2023 Topps Archives. It's got like maybe 5 or 6 days left on eBay. I'm gonna try to snatch that one up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a Boba Fett Topps Dynasty on eBay that I'm watching right now too. 2021, so 2nd year. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, cool. I'm cool with SGC. I'm cool with SGC. I'm cool with PSA, and I'm cool with Tag. There was somebody. I'm waiting for somebody on Instagram today. I don't do a whole lot of commenting on other people's stuff on there, like random people's stuff. There was
Mm-hmm.
like a card guy, and he was saying how he's like, well, you said something sucks, and he's like, oh, Tag sucks too, and I'm like, no, Tag is awesome.
Whatever you
They
smoking,
have,
put it away.
unless he's talking about the thing with Tag is they need to like let's get going to where you can grade everything. Like let's get going here. Like you need to be able to start doing some vintage. You need thicker cards, stuff like that. But
I'm actually considering starting to send a lot of the lower tiered A-Rock cards to Tag.
yeah, I do have some cards. Somebody, I think Nikki somebody was asking me. I think they're sending me stuff for Tag, which is cool because my brother-in-law does have a couple of PC stuff that he wants to go to Tag. Some of his Boston Red Sox stuff and I have that Oswald the Peraza card. Did I set it out over here? The one right here. I'm gonna crack this bad boy that got the 6 and send that to Tag.
Okay.
Just for an experiment. And yeah.
Definitely. Alan, I have nothing against SGC, but SGC needs to stick with what they do best. Stick with the old cards.
Yeah. Mr. Enfuego doesn't like modern cards in SGC, but
It just doesn't make sense.
yeah.
That's like
It's
eating spaghetti with a spoon. It don't
it's
make sense.
not it's not that bad, especially with some of the prices they have sometimes, like $9 grading, like that's not too bad. That's
I
nice.
don't know.
I know. To each his own. To each his
Yep,
own.
touche. But what we
Uh-huh.
got going on upcoming is I will be doing another short because I just received another card in the mail today. I'm not gonna expose what it is now because I'm waiting for 3 others to actually come in. What you got coming up, Adrian?
I have got a PSA order on the way back. Just two cards. They're both Sean, the Jedi Masters. Hopefully I've got that big submission from Adam's card closet that is taking longer because I think more cards. It was 50 like vintage, like mostly Hank Aaron cards that I'm really looking forward to showing off on the channel. But there's that. There's going to be some slab cracking on my channel here. And I've got a gift from you that I want to do a short on and show that off and
Okay.
think, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then of course the card sale next Wednesday. Spaghetti. I use a spork. Good call, Alan. Good
Only
call.
you, Alan. If I was still in uniform, I would be using a spork also.
So, man, thank you guys so much for coming to the podcast tonight and coming to Mr. Enfuego's coming to the after hour show and all the support. You guys are awesome.
Do appreciate it wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Y'all make this fun. This is what it's about for me right here. Whenever I get down, I'm just like, I can't wait to do the podcast or the after hour show so we can just talk about what we love and
This is definitely considered a hobby. With what we're doing right now, this is what I would consider hobby related.
100%.
So yeah, again, Wednesday is Silco Wednesdays. Okay. Then we have another episode of the Junkies podcast coming up on Saturday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, after hours, 30 minutes right after. Okay. We will start working on giving everybody a special episode on the last Junkies episode for the year. Okay. Don't want to give too many details because both Adrian and I have not come up with all the details just yet, but we do have a theme of how we're going to go ahead and present it. We just need to figure out all the logistics behind it. But we're gonna go ahead and cut sling load here because I like to try to match the podcast time with the after hour show or vice versa. So appreciate everybody coming in and looking forward to seeing you guys next weekend and throughout the week on YouTube land. Any last words for the group, Adrian?
Love you all. Appreciate you all. Have a great rest of the weekend. See you
Have a
soon.
good one, everybody.